Now, you haven't asked me about the next book.
Well, yes, but what I want to do is get my agenda done first.
All right,
and that is, I'm a little worried about this YouTube work that you're doing, because
oh, good Lord, here it comes!
It's distracting you, Joe, on the screenplay, and this is your shining moment. This is your thing, grabbing the brass ring, you know.
Well, look,
you've got a good manuscript. You've done that, and let's just make this movie as good as it can be. It may not work, but let's make it as good as we can. So that's that. We'll leave that there. You know what I said. But now let's talk about the next book.
Well, look here. Look, before we talk about the next book, let me address this YouTube thing, because it's a little bit of I'll admit it is a little bit of a distraction. Yes. I think it is. But look, you know, Richard, I don't get out much. I mean, I get into the city as much as I can to see the mass of humanity as much as I can. But you know, I've told you this before. Writing is a lonely bit. Now, here's the other thing. You were supposed to find me. What's that woman's name you wanted me to date? Lydia, isn't it?
Lydia, yes.
Right,
yes,
right.
Lydia.
So,
yes, Elizabeth knows.
You know,
her.
I might not have to do this YouTube stuff if, in fact, I found Lydia quite charming, and we decided to hook up in some way.
Are you saying YouTube is substituting for?
I think so. Yes, I think YouTube is actually my woman. You know, I mean, it's a collective of men and women. You know, but it's like my companion. You know, I got nothing to do. I put up this black curtain here.
I will set that up right away. That'll get you focused on the screenplay.
Well, that'd be great. I'd love to go out with Lydia. So tell me about her. She a lovely woman, is she?
Yes, she is. She's terrific. She's smart. She's high IQ. She's also a writer, and you know, does poetry as my brother did. And as you know, that's how my first client was my brother. And so he had written, and he's someone else that had a family, and just his work, he did some small success and some readings and some small publishing.
Right.
It was kind of part of the inspiration to say, you know, if I can help him get noticed and get that would be good. And so we have, and so that's been good. So yes, I think you'd enjoy and have a lot in common. So
well, I look forward to that.
She's also very attractive.
All right, on to now that I'm totally distracted by the possibility of a beautiful woman coming into my life. Excuse me. I'd like to talk a little bit about what you had just brought up, the next book. I've got an idea, and I'm working on a lot of different things, a lot of irons in the fire, but one of the things that, as you know, I did that article, it's not been published yet, but the article on Venice for Harper's Bazaar, and it's a notion of, you know, 100 years from now, what if Venice were to sink into the sea, or 1,000 years from now, what would we remember collectively about that city? You know, it's such a magical, interesting city. And I started thinking about that almost from a science fiction kind of a standpoint, you know, where Venice starts collapsing into the sea.
Atlantis.
Like Atlantis, you know, a lot more quickly than anybody had predicted, you know, it just starts collapsing. And there's a romantic love story in which an American and a young Venetian woman who lives there, he comes to Venice and he falls in love, and she has a whole family there and everything. And Venice starts sinking at some dramatic rate, and it's sort of a parallel to their life, you know, their life is sinking, and what they need to do is escape. But she's got her family and her roots, and for, you know, hundreds of thousands of years, I don't know if that's possible, but they've all been there, and she doesn't want to leave them in Venice. And so the whole notion of how does the city deal with this cataclysmic event, how do this couple, how do they deal with this cataclysmic event, and how does the world do it, quite frankly, because there may be some political kinds of things in there as well. So it's politics, it's history, it's a love story, and it's a little bit of science fiction too, I think. And I've never done anything like a science fiction, so I'm starting to think, all right, you know, I was working on the other book about the love shack in North Carolina, which I thought was sort of interesting, about some inbreeding and all that, which was kind of bizarre.
Yeah,
but
well, you showed me a few notes from that, and I think this sounds more intriguing.
Do you really then?
But is the love interest, is he an engineer or something, and is trying to solve the problem?
That's a damn good idea. You know, I mean, see, this is why you are the president of Pavilion Publishing. That's a damn good idea.
Well, I mean, that way they'd be working together and try to solve the problem while they're trying to save her family.
I like that. Maybe he goes over there. Maybe he's employed by the city, by Italy, and to come over.
And that's what brings him.
And that's what brings him over there. And he falls in love with this woman. And not only is he in love with the city, trying to rescue the city, he's got to deal with people all over the world, experts and scientists and politicians. But then he's also falling in love with her, and maybe she's got something to do with it too, or maybe she's just a peasant girl, I don't know.
Or maybe it's not natural that it's sinking. Maybe there's some other motive that someone wants it to sink. You remember the Italian Job, the movie?
Right.
Or it wasn't the Italian Job, right? Where they were underneath the Venice and they bombed the floor and the safe comes down. Maybe it's sinking as a distraction or something. Maybe that is where you go. I don't know.
Well, it's my research is quite, and I think I could have.
Good about your creative themes.
I think I could have the kind of the sketch out of this done probably in a couple of weeks. I think.
Okay.
Well, the Hollywood thing has been a little bit.
Well, make sure the screenplay. They are waiting on a couple of rewrites on that.
When do you think we're going to know something about that? When are we going to hear for sure?
I think that if they see, some of the suggestions done, and as you said, it isn't changing your integrity what you're doing.
Right.
I think soon. I think we can button this up within 30 days.
Oh, that's fantastic. That'd be great. Well, here's what I'd like to do. Let me go ahead and continue to work with this bloke out in. He's actually in Manhattan Beach, actually. Yeah. He's not. We met in Hollywood. Beautiful restaurant.
No, he's connected. He's connected.
Is he really?
Yeah. He can help with move things forward.
All right. Have you talked to my agent, Ken? Have you had a chance to talk to him?
He called the other day, but I was on the road. But we're gonna connect next week.
All right, because he's got some issues that he wants to talk about as well, just in terms of promotion.
Well, I do want to talk to him more about how the promotion went, because we could do some more of that kind of thing.
Right. I met him in Chicago.
Variations. Yeah.
Good.
I mean, I think you'd do well on radio too, and interviews on radio.
Well, see, look, I think that's exactly what I'm thinking, because here I am, on YouTube. I sound pretty good, don't I?
Well, you're getting a following, and on that, I guess in that way, I got to give you some credit for YouTube, because it does get your name around a bit.
Not a big following.
No, not a big following.
It's a little tiny bit of a little following.
Well, all 11 people could come to that.
That's right.
But you had a bigger crowd than that at the bookstore.
Oh, I had a great crowd.
Yeah, and so, but
seriously, there must have been close to 1,000 people.
I know that. I mean, that's what he said, and so I think that's got possibilities, and then tying in with some radio too, and that we can arrange. So
right, that'd be terrific.
Because a lot of these stations are really looking for something a little different, and I think the idea of what Pavilion is doing has some newsworthiness too, particularly maybe in a city like Atlanta, where Ted Turner, all those guys are trying to.
Right.
Have creativity and lift up people.
Do you think Ted Turner watches New Jersey Joe on YouTube?
He's the kind of guy that might.
He might. Yeah, I don't know who's out there watching. I got a couple of little people out there. I didn't mean to say little people, but I got some fans out there who watch.
All you need is one big fan. See, that's the whole idea of Pavilion. All we need to do is connect you with someone like that just captures and gets excited about your work. And you're off and running.
You know what I'm thinking might be kind of interesting? The YouTube thing is a little bit of an interesting phenomenon. If I were to do I might be a little bit late with the book deal we got going on with Hollywood, but if I were to start the Venice book, I haven't got a title for it, if you've got an idea, I don't know. I've come up with a couple of cheesy titles.
But Venice Under Sea.
Yes, Venice Under Sea. But what I was thinking about doing is documenting the creation of a story idea as it goes to a book, as it goes to a movie, because quite frankly, this is the first time, I'll be honest with you, this is the first time I've actually thought, now that we've got this Hollywood thing going, I'm starting to write a book now, thinking it might be a movie. So I've not done that before. I've simply written a book, said, okay, it's Gustaf's Lighthouse, it's a book, it's going to be in the library, that's about it. But now I'm thinking, all right, well, maybe some of this stuff, maybe I've got just the right amount of dramatic chemistry in my work, where I could just, go, right, maybe I should just write the screenplay and skip the book altogether, but no, I should probably do the book.
No, I do the book.
Get the book, because it's going to...
evolve the screenplay, like, that would be the way to do it.